Okay, I'm being informed we are live.
All right.
Okay, so in today's edition of Toppers Talk in our TEQIP GATE classes, I have with me a very special friend of mine. His name is Mr. Anas Sheikh. Okay, so on behalf of all the TEQIP faculties and Islamic University of Science and Technology, Department of Food Technology, I welcome you, Anas, to our show. It is the 10th episode of our edition. Okay, so before we can start, I welcome all of my viewers, audiences, dear fellow students and colleagues. So today with me is Anas Sheikh. He has done his bachelor's from ICT Mumbai in food engineering and technology. After that, Anas has qualified GATE in engineering sciences with an all India rank of 16 and has went on to do his master's from the prestigious IIT Kharagpur. After that, after completing his master's from IIT Kharagpur, Anas went on to achieve the prestigious Prime Minister Research Fellowship, Research Fellowship Award from MHRD. And he is currently pursuing his PhD program from IIT Kharagpur only. So, Anas, I've again welcome you to our episode, to our show.
Thank you, Shafi.
So before we can move to the question answers and regarding the GATE and Pmrf, so I want you to briefly first tell us about your journey. How did you make it to ICT Mumbai? Then afterwards, how did you think about qualifying GATE? Then going on to pursue your masters at IIT Kharagpur, and then the onwards journey. Please, Anas.
Okay, so actually, when I was in my when I completed my 10th standard, so like when I was in school, rather, we had these science projects, and so I used to do these science projects on biology. Like my teachers were very interested in biology, and we have something called as the National Children's Science Congress. These competitions in school. So it's these are nationally held every year, and schools all around our country participate. So our school has this tradition of participating every year, and they do these science projects. So my teachers had more inclination on doing projects related to biology. So that is how I got a knack for doing my further studies in biology. So and now there's the story of every Indian household that we either want to become doctors or engineers, and so for pursuing these fields, you either have an option of giving the JEE, the joint entrance exam, or the NEET. So I basically wanted to pursue a career in biotechnology initially, but then to gain some engineering experience, I started preparing for the JEE examination. And that is how I wanted to. I was preparing in my 11th and 12th for the JEE. However, I couldn't make it to the. I qualified the JEE mains, but not the JEE advanced. But there is always this knack of getting into some institutes into IITs. So although it was not fulfilled that time, I did not lose hope, but rather I prepared for the CET, which is the Common Entrance Test, the MHT CET, Maharashtra CET, and that allows students in the state of Maharashtra to secure admissions in colleges which are affiliated with, which are based in Maharashtra. So I could get good marks in CET, and that is how I could get into ICT Mumbai. Now in ICT Mumbai, primarily I wanted to pursue something related to biology only. But as we all know that ICT Mumbai is more famous for chemical engineering than the BTech courses, which it has, like foods, pharma, and the rest 5 branches. So I was I could figure out that in the counseling session. So in our time, there was counseling session, but now they have made it through online CAP rounds. So I could figure out that I may not be able to secure a seat in chemical engineering either in ICT Mumbai. And so that is how
Landed up in food technology.
Yes, I landed up in food technology, but actually that was not by chance also, but rather by choice. So there is this epic. I wouldn't say epic. Rather, there's the story. Like we were in the counseling rounds, and I and my mother had been there to the counseling rounds, and then okay, so and that was the time we were fasting also. So it was like traveling all the way from Thane to Matunga. So it was quite a day for my mom also, and she was very tired because my rank was a bit later. And yeah, so I could see that chemical engineering seats were getting filled, and I had to choose between food and pharma. So what I did was I told my mom that, okay, mommy, I'll just go and take a round of the section of the departments which are there here. And so I'll get an idea, because anyways, I was getting bored sitting there for the counseling session. So then I ran through the food department and the pharma department. So in the food department, what I saw was these fermentation flasks, and which were on that orbital shaker. And that brought back memories of my school day project. So in my school days, I had worked on chlorella vulgaris fermentation. So I thought, oh, this is something which I did in school and I wanted to do. So perhaps I can take this one, the food technology branch. And the second option was pharma. So in ICT, it's like foods and pharma are like neighboring departments. So they are very close and next to each other. So then I went to the pharma department. And in the pharma department, I could only smell like, so I felt like I was in a clinic, because they synthesize all these drugs, etc. And that is how I felt like, oh, it's too much of a clinic, somewhat. I mean, a clinical smell. So I thought, okay, maybe I don't want that much of a pharma department. I would rather choose foods. So yes, apart from chemical engineering, I had all the 7 branches open for me to choose from. And then, yes, definitely I chose food technology. And that is how I landed up into ICT Mumbai's food engineering and technology BTech. So yeah, then those 4 years were really good at ICT Mumbai.
Okay, that means a bit of destiny and a bit of choice. It is a composite. Okay, so now the basic question is, once you have landed up in BTech food technology program, not many are lucky enough to go and pursue their BTech from ICT, from a great institute like ICT. Some do it like in a state university, like in ours, Department of Food Technology, IUSc. So how do they start preparing for GATE? There is a lot of question, curiosity, and confusion, like what is the appropriate time start preparing for GATE examination? Tell us something. When did you start preparing for your GATE exam?
Okay, so to be very frank, I had no, plan of giving a GATE. So my plan was to do a master's abroad. And that was the plan till when I completed my BTech in 2017. And in 2016, like you have to start applying 1 year before. So in 2016, I was rather, applying to schools in the US and in Europe. And one in New Zealand. So I had applied to schools, but then I realized that we could not manage the finances for studying of conducting a master's abroad. And then that was like, so that realization actually came a bit later, I would say. So I till the point I completed my GATE, I really had no plans for preparing it. But then in 2017, when I realized that, okay, I'll have to maybe select a choice of conducting my master's in India only. So then I started exploring the option of GATE. However, like after my graduation, I did an internship at Schreiber Dynamics Dairies, which is in Baramati. So yes, there I gained some industrial experience, and then finally a BTech project. So I wanted to complete that in a way that I could get a publication out of it. So that is the time where I was doing that research at ICT Mumbai, coming back. And then like I used to prepare for GATE examination also. Now your question has 2 aspects, like how can students who are in their BTech prepare it? So during the BTech, I would say that focus properly on the curriculum, what you are being taught. Okay, so now food engineering and technology has different aspects. So one is food chemistry. Okay, so then food microbiology, and then you have the product technologies. So in ICT also, we were the curriculum is very nicely prepared in ICT. So what students elsewhere can also do is, as well as this can be taken up by faculty members, that they refer to the syllabi of other institutes and what they are taught, and implement it in the students can learn from that syllabi if, let's say, a certain subject is not covered. For example, in ICT Mumbai, food microbiology, many of the professors there only say that we don't go very much into depth as is required. Whereas in certain US universities, they do a lot of work on pathogens and food safety. That level of depth is not covered in food microbiology course in ICT. So yes, so even they refer to syllabi of other schools and prepare it. So what I would suggest GATE aspirants would be that follow a reverse engineering approach. Now this particular term, reverse engineering, is like you have a target and then you come back that, okay, to achieve this target, how will I go about it? So it's not that you so basically what you have to do is you have to focus your efforts. So now if you want to qualify GATE, the GATE is based on specific syllabus. So you first get to know the syllabus. In case of engineering sciences, it's general aptitude, engineering maths, and food technology. Definitely, as food technologists, we need to take that subject, and one additional subject, which could be either thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, or if you're comfortable with any other, there is no such constraint that the other subject has to be anything specific, unless and until you are taking food technology. So I had prepared for thermodynamics. Now, what I would say, it was kind of a I was fortunate rather that Dr. Snehashish Chakrabarti. So he had done his PhD at IIT Kharagpur, and then after that he had joined as a faculty, and ours was the first batch of which he was teaching. And then he used to teach us a lot of process engineering stuff, which are taught in IIT Kharagpur. So that kind of prepared us all for the curriculum, which is generally followed in IIT Kharagpur. So yes, so then I actually, while I was conducting my, continuing rather my BTech project research further at ICT, I contacted him, and then he guided me. Okay, so because I was confused that what should be a second subject, should I choose thermodynamics or fluid mechanics? And given the time I had was limited. So then he told me that, okay, I have taught you thermodynamics, some parts. So I've taught you psychrometry and all that stuff. So you can take thermodynamics. That will be easier for you to learn and get through quickly. So yes, indeed, his advice worked out, and I could prepare for thermodynamics more easily. And yeah, I could then qualify GATE. So yeah, so in a crisp way, I would suggest that the students must download first the syllabi and read it. So maybe we can talk in detail and specifically about each of the parts which are there of the syllabi. But then the first step is you download the syllabi and you download the previous year's question papers to get an idea of what is the complexity of.
Okay, so what Anas is telling us is like you have to start from the basics. That is, basic is consult your syllabus, then download all previous year questions. Time doesn't matter much. You can start it in 7th semester, 5th semester, 3rd semester, whenever you are comfortable with. Okay. Another thing coming up in food technology, actually I am from agriculture engineering background. So when I landed up in food technology, the first question was like, sir, hum kis mein de, XL or XE? What do you suggest?
Mm-hmm. So now see, this is a very great question, I would say. And that is because at IIT Kharagpur, like let's say if you're targeting IIT Kharagpur for doing your food process engineering, then IIT Kharagpur does not accept Excel scores for admission into MTech food process engineering. And this, many students get confused because food technology, exactly the same paper comes in both Excel and XE. And yeah, so many people, in fact, I was also confused. rather at that time, that which paper exactly should I be giving. And yeah, so fortunately it was XE, which is engineering sciences. So yes, engineering sciences should be preferred.
Okay, so if you wish to pursue your master's or higher degree from IIT, then XE has to be your choice. There is no option that you can take Excel. Okay, great. Then another question that our students have is, like, they have asked me many a times, like, how to prepare for maths. There are certain 10 marks for the mathematics, 15 marks rather. So how do you suggest them, advise them to prepare mathematics? Because coming from, as you said, like, you are inclined towards biology, our students mainly are from bio background. Even some of them, many of them rather, don't have mathematics in 11th and 12th, yet we complete their deficiency courses of mathematics in bachelor's, but that does not completely satisfy the needs that you need to have for preparing maths or being able to be self-sufficient in solving mathematic problem. How did you tackle this problem, or how did you rise up to this challenge?
Okay, so what I would suggest is, in mathematics, again, you firstly have to look at the syllabus, and then you have to pick up a book. So it can now, two of the books which I suggest is one which I have a hard copy with me is Jane and Iyengar. So Advanced Engineering Mathematics by Jane and Iyengar, and there is another book which many of my friends have told me that is good. And then as I'm referring now also to learn some maths more in detail, so I'm referring Kreyzig. So Kreyzig, I suppose. So this is
Crazy.
again, yes. So these are two books which will give you, which covers rather all the topics which are there in engineering mathematics. Because as you said, it's just 15 marks, but sometimes the syllabus feels like it's more than even food technology for us
Yeah.
to cover. That's because we are not used to, I mean, doing the very traditional mathematics in that sense. We do apply it in food process engineering, but to an extent what is needed. And yeah, so but that is very traditional, typical maths question. So you need to pick up books and yeah, prepare from that. So these two books, Jane and Iyengar and Kreyzig, would be
Okay.
better.
So you are very comfortably answering my questions. I'm really glad. Okay. So next question that our students have is, like, the optional subject. As you said, like, you had a great teacher, Snehashi sir. He's my senior also. I know him personally. He's a kind of genius. I called him always. So, but how do you select an optional? Matlab, this is a very, matlab, I would say, like, Achilles heel for us. Like, we do, our students are not able to exactly score in our optionals. The problem is, like, in our food technology, our students are able to score comfortably. I think out of 35, they will be going to solve, or they are going to solve around 25 marks even. But then they fail up. They somehow are not able to cross this optional subject. What do you suggest them? How do you advise or suggest to tackle this issue of optional subject?
Uh-huh. So actually, like I said, even in my case, I was confused about choosing this optional subject. So what they can do is they can refer to what is being asked in those papers and see how much are they comfortable with solving problems in that subject. So are they more comfortable in studying thermodynamics, or like you said, agricultural engineering? Now it has a lot of IC engine and all the stuff which generally is not taught in food technology.
Yes.
So like you said, agricultural engineering people, when they come to IIT Kharagpur, they are more I would say convenient in studying things like crankshaft, etc., which are taught by Professor Ashish Kumar Datta, and very nicely. So they are easier to get those subjects, and food technology students are easier to get subjects which are taught by, let's say, Professor Harinivas Mishra, who teaches chemistry and product technology. So yeah, so this is there has to be a balance, and you cannot be saying that, okay, we are good at food technology and science subjects, and we can sort of so you need to identify that weaker area and work on it, and see like which you will be able to grasp easily and also solve problems in it easily. I mean, at the end of the day, if you need it, then you can study both all subjects like fluid mechanics as well as thermodynamics. But then the point is you need to just focus on one subject, and then once you selected it and once you've started preparing it, then just be focused and complete that one subject. Now, there was a point of time when I started preparing for thermodynamics, and I had this slight dilemma in my mind that, okay, maybe fluid mechanics, should I go for it? But then I thought, okay, no, but maybe so another thing is, if you have chosen one subject, then prepare that one optional subject only properly. Otherwise, if you select, okay, this also you will study something, and then other subject also will study something. So it will be like, okay, you've studied 2 subjects, but then it's like jack of all trades, but master of none. So you probably just select one subject and be focused and determined rather that I have to make this subject only perfect. And then, yeah, one thing I would...
Please continue.
Yeah, so one thing I would like to add that you can always take help of your teachers. So to identify which subject to choose, like I did in my case.
Yes, it is better to have a large chunk of something rather than to have something of everything.
True, very true.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a question that is being currently asked in our live session, that as of now, GATE is offered in 2 papers to choose. We can write GATE in 2 papers. Is it a good choice to write for our GATE examination in 2 papers, or we should only go for one, target one?
So yeah, I think it is a good choice that if you have an option to give 2 GATE examinations, you can definitely explore that option. That's a good thing.
Good option. Okay. Acha, so how much to score? There is another thing that is that is always on the minds of our student, is how much marks to target, how much you need to get to reach IIT. What should be the ideal targeting score that our students should keep in mind?
So now see, now in my case, I also analyzed the previous year's scores, and generally, so these are available on internet easily. So one can always find out from internet that what is generally the rank which I will get if I score in a particular range. So I also could find it out, and yeah. So in my case, I'll tell you, when I had an AIR of 16, I had out of 100, the marks were 57.33, if my memory takes me correctly. And yes, they then normalize it to a GATE score based on the number of people appearing, etc. And they have that system. So the GATE score, which is the normalized one, out of 1,000 was 803. However, with the 57.33 marks out of 100, I could secure an AIR of 16. So yes, that is. I gave my GATE in 2018. So currently, what's the situation? I'm not aware. Scores would have improved, definitely.
Okay, so what is the safe score to reach to an IIT normally?
Safe score would be, I would suggest 60 to 65.
Okay, so our students should keep it in mind that minimum you should target 60. So
yes.
Whatever you achieve is a different thing, but at least target should be above 60.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Besides, what are the tips that you would suggest to our students? Give our students like how to prepare for GATEs. Like, did you prepare any kind of short notes? Did you select some specific topics? Did you prepare for food engineering more than other topics? Can you enlighten us with some of your preparation strategies?
Mm-hmm. So, like when I started preparing, so like I said, I was also doing my research at ICT at that time. So I had very less time. And then what I used to do was I kept 3 weeks for reading all the theory and covering all the topics, and then 3 weeks for solving papers. So that is very important. Like many students, what they do is they will just probably just go with the theory and then they will read everything, but then they will not solve papers. So that should not be done. Solving papers, full-fledged papers, like as you sit for a 3-hour examination of GATE, is very, very necessary. And you must download all the papers and then very diligently give examinations. That will help you a lot. So it's not just about reading and getting to know, but it's also about then, in a way, solving examples is like solving a practical problem. So, and applying it. So yeah, I would suggest that.
Okay, did you prepare any short notes?
Yes, I did.
Do they help?
Yes, they do help. They do help. So what I would now see, there is always now when I was studying thermodynamics specifically, so there is always this background story of how those concepts have built up. So you need to remember that story, and then in your short notes, certain formulae and then certain charts like those enthalpy diagrams and all. So all steam tables, etc. How exactly are they calculated? Those thermodynamic parameters. So all those should be very short notes that you should have. So in fact, my short notes was, I guess, about not more than 10 pages on both sides.
Okay,
So,
for the whole food technology plus optional.
Yes. So food technology, I had very minimum notes because for 4 years we had studied that. Majorly, I had concentrated on food engineering because yeah, that was kind of my lacuna, I would say, at that time. And that is why I wanted to fulfill that lacuna by taking this course at MTech course at IIT Kharagpur, which could fill that lacuna of food engineering, because IIT Mumbai has a very strong food technology, food science background. However, a little bit more of a food process engineering was then added by IIT Kharagpur.
Okay, so if our students are keenly observing that it is not that you have to get a syllabus only and you have to prepare it in the last sem 1 year ago. If you are consistent throughout your 4 years, then it should not be much difficult. The GATE examination should not be such a big task, big deal for you. Am I right, Anas?
Yes, that is very true. And I would suggest that probably teachers can also get these papers, the GATE papers, and ask questions in the exam based on the subjects that they teach, based on these questions only. So initially only they should start preparing, or in cases where this it's not happening, maybe in colleges sometimes, and the students can take care of this, that okay, they are preparing for these type of questions and problems as they are learning that subject. So let's say if there is a food chemistry is in one particular semester, then they can get all the food chemistry questions of GATE and perhaps solve at that time itself. So they are prepared well in advance.
Okay, so you had chosen thermodynamics. What are the books and other resource materials that you suggest for preparing thermodynamics?
Okay, so in my case, what happened was, fortunately, my brother is 3 years younger to me, and he is studying. He has completed his mechanical engineering, and now, as of now, but that time he was studying his mechanical engineering. So he had this subject thermodynamics. I mean, in one of his semesters. So he's studying at Mumbai University, and basically they have these books called TEQMAX. So TEQMAX is basically a publication. So they have these books for Mumbai University students. So there is this publication TEQMAX. Now I suppose that they have changed the publication's name, but generally if you type TEQMAX thermodynamics book, you will get the similar book on internet. And yes, so I studied from that. And if you like, to my surprise, like whatever is the GATE syllabus of thermodynamics, exactly same was there in my brother's book. So I could prepare very well from it. And yes, so that is how I prepared for thermodynamics. So TEQMAX publication is good for Mumbai University. And Mumbai University, yes, also for engineering mathematics, I would suggest they have very good books, like in traditional textbook fashion, they have this. So Jain and Iyengar and Krasik will have more of for an advanced learner, one who is already in his BTech years and beyond, also for others. So they will have in that fashion. But in Mumbai University books, they have very nicely, I mean, pedagogically, it is nice. Yeah.
Okay, tell us something. Did you appear for any mock tests? And do students need to go for mocks?
In my case, no, I did not appear for mock test, but like I said, I had downloaded all the previous year's question papers, so I used to solve them at home at a 3-hour this thing. I mean, interval for continuously. I used to sit for 3 hours and used to solve it.
Went for self-assessment.
Yeah.
Okay. Do mocks help? What do you say?
Yes, mocks may help. Actually, I may not be the right person to judge this because I haven't been through it. So I wouldn't like to answer that question. Sorry.
Okay, nice. So now we will move on to your journey of MTech at IIT Kharagpur. So I would like to inspire, motivate our students. How was it pursuing your masters at IIT Kharagpur?
So pursuing my master's at IIT Kharagpur was really amazing. So and I mean that an IIT life is different. So generally it's very difficult to summarize also. Now, and since these are very fresh experiences, which I completed my master's just last year. So it's very difficult for me to, translate those experiences into words. But yes, it's amazing. I mean, IIT gives you a lot of opportunities, and the professors especially are very supportive. So at IIT. So that's also a very good thing, and they'll always be ready to help you. They are also residential only, so sometimes you can even, take their help by asking them even during non-office hours, and sometimes they will also call you at home. So okay, you can come at home and ask me. So some of the professors were also like that. Because they stay in the residential complex only, and then you also IIT Kharagpur, we don't have very much anything outside to go, so it's
But
almost
I
like
must say the campus within is no less than a metropolitan city there.
exactly, so it's like a village in itself. So you meet the professors in the tech market, and so it's really amazing. I mean,
Okay, so you went on to complete your masters from IIT Kharagpur last year. Then, how did the plan of doing your PhD back there in IIT Kharagpur come to your mind, and how did you apply? Now we will come on to our second session, which is based on your, I think, a brilliant achievement. I must have congratulated on the first half of the show. I congratulate you on achieving such a
thank you.
brilliant fellowship, PMRF fellowship. It's a very prestigious fellowship. So I congratulate you on that part. So tell us about that journey. Why? How did you start? How did you plan to do your PhD back in IIT Kharagpur, and how did you apply for PMRF?
Mhm. So basically what happens in IIT Kharagpur is that we get admitted into joint MTech PhD programs from the very beginning. And then there is, but however, only top 10% of the applicants get to convert it. So I had this option to convert my MTech into a PhD program. So yeah, then I opted for that option. And yes, so I could avail it. But then what happens is that once, like as we know that generally when this gets converted, you are, enrolled for PhD as an institute research fellow. So yeah, so initially I was an institute research fellow, and then there, every year there PMRF advertisements come for 2 times. So one is the May admit and one is the December admit. So because of the COVID, restrictions, the May 2020 admits were a bit delayed. So they came somewhere towards the end of the semester, rather. I don't remember the exact month, but yes, the May 2020 admits itself were a bit delayed. And yeah, so then when this advertisement comes, so this will be forwarded by the institute itself to all the students. So it's all students at studying at the institute are eligible to apply. So then I thought, okay, maybe I should try applying for it. So yeah, that is how I then applied for PMRF, and fortunately I could make for it.
So what are the credentials that you require to have to be eligible for MPMRF?
So for PMRF, basically there is a CGPA requirement. So what I would suggest is always go through the official website and check the eligibility criteria, because sometimes they keep changing. But
Yes.
generally speaking, if you have a CGPA of 8 or above, that's one requirement of CGPA. Another requirement is of GATE score. So your GATE score must be 650, above 650. Yes, so 650 out of 1,000 when we compare, talk about that score. So yes, it should be above 650. And yes, apart from this, now these are like kind of objective requirements. Apart from this, there is the subjective requirement of your research motivation. So that depends on your research proposal, what you draft. What exactly are you going to research on? Is that solving some problem of our country? And then there is also your letters of recommendation, which are provided by your professor. So these are the subjective requirements, and also your research publications. So if you have previous publications, then they always give you an edge over.
Okay, then I will follow it up with the question like, does the work that you have done in your master's impact, lay an impact on your PMRF applicability?
Yes, it does. It does have an impact, and yes, because generally this screening committee or the screening of applicants is like, first the supervisor will decide if he and the applicant would like to apply for the fellowship. Then they approach the department. So then the department will screen it at the departmental level based on these criteria of CGPA and grade score, etc. And then they will recommend it to the institute level. After that, for every engineering branch, some institutes are assigned as nodal institutes. So then that committee, the selection committee, then screens those applicants.
So is it like you can directly apply to PMRF, or you have to follow a proper channel, like you have to apply to, you have to submit the application to the department, or the department applies?
So it's like, yeah, so the department will first nominate the candidates. They will, the nominations have to go first, and then if that nomination is successful at the institute level, then the institute will give your names to the nodal coordinator, which is IIT Delhi. So they will then send all those nominated applicants the link to apply. So not everyone will be given that link to apply on the online portal. So on that online portal, then you have to be ready with all your documents, your transcripts, your research proposal, and the CV. You have to beforehand contact the professors who will be writing letters for you. And the last thing, so all these, and you have to make ready beforehand to apply, basically. Yeah, so then that on that online portal you apply.
Okay, so how many did you have any public, because I'm asking this question because you had a very short time between your master's and PhD. Did you have your publication? Tell us something about when did you publish, or did you have any publication before you applied for PMRF?
Yes, I did have publications. So basically that was because I started my research projects in BTech only. So actually ICT Mumbai has this very great atmosphere of research. So wherein they give opportunities for teachers give opportunities to undergraduate students to conduct research projects. So actually my first research project, which I did in my BTech days, was not actually in ICT because for some, in my school days, I had we used to do these science projects at Kelkar College, which is a nearby college in Mulund. So there I knew teachers, and then I went there and contacted Professor Barve. So he knows me since school days. So then I thought, okay, sir, maybe I want to do some research project. So I went. Now this is always I would like to tell all these students that whenever you go to professors for asking them to conduct research, you should always go with some idea beforehand in your mind. So even I had some idea of doing some project on water purification. So then sir told me, okay, maybe why don't you work on nanoparticles? So yes, so in fact I went to him quite early, but like I wanted to do this after my first year only in the summer vacation. But then he told me, okay, why don't you try nanoparticles? And then it took me some time to read, and then the summer vacations were already gone for the first after the first year. So it was only after second year I could go to again Kelkar College and do this project. I read the procedures, etc., and could do a project. So then this research, I was writing a paper, and then actually Snehasis sir helped me a lot to on how to write a research paper. So when I had drafted my first research paper, he and then he told me, and then I basically told him, sir, why don't if you can please review my paper? And then he said, okay. So he did it in a very classical fashion, that silver nanoparticles paper. And he found out a lot of mistakes. I mean, Snehasis sir is one person who will also point out, will also be able to see if your full stop is in italics or is it straight. So yeah, and also I did my seminar, BTech seminar, and BTech project under him. So there was a lot of guidance. And then yes, after my BTech, I could get some time to properly draft again this silver nanoparticles paper and communicate, and it got published. So that was one thing. And then yes, I had one more publication, which was also based on a research project which I did in ICT.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so you need to have a good research base before applying for PMRF. Okay, can we apply for PMRF before having a PhD admission, or like we have CSIR fellowships, many fellowships are there, you get it prior to applying in for PhD programs, or you have to apply for PMRF after taking an admission in PhD?
Okay, yeah, so after taking a PhD admission, you can apply. Okay, yeah, that is possible. So even if you are previously on some another fellowship, it's possible to change it to PMRF.
As you were an institute fellow prior, and then you shifted on to PMRF fellowship.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Okay, how many fellowships are being awarded? Is there a particular number, or it depends?
Actually, that depends. I mean, they have that particular number which needs to be satisfied every year, but probably they are not getting that many applicants. So, and yeah, so that number is always underutilized, I would say, and they're always encouraging people to apply for this fellowship.
Okay, is it necessary that the person should be from CFTIs, or our students from our state universities can also apply for PMRF?
So actually, they have on the PMRF website, they have listed specific institutes, so which includes IITs and other national central institutes as well. But I have seen that actually students should interrogate at the institute. For example, ICT Mumbai is not listed in that, but I know one PMRF fellow from ICT Mumbai as well. So I mean, they should always the students should always interrogate if there is a possibility of applying, because many of the institutes are nationally recognized and they're very good institutes. So I mean, they can definitely interrogate and look for possibilities.
Okay, I have one question. That what was your motivation to apply for PMRF?
So motivation to apply for PMRF was basically I wanted to go through that rigorous screening process, and I wanted to look how am I eligible for such a fellowship or not. So that was the one motivation, because and yeah, so if you apply, then definitely it's a prestigious fellowship and you are a PMRF fellow. So that was one thing on my mind, that I wanted to see if I can if I'm eligible as a PMRF fellow, and not only eligible, but also if I can make to it. Another was that PMRF fellows, definitely the stipend is one thing, which the fellowship amount which comes, but then also they get an opportunity to teach in polytechnic colleges. So which in our case they haven't started yet because of these current pandemics, but yeah, they have this they can this opportunity to teach in polytechnic colleges. Apart from that, they can collaborate with industries so that whatever research they or the IP which they generate can be easily transferred to industry. So that is another good thing about.
So are you thinking about to collaborate with any industry in your research work?
Not now, not until now, because in my case, like I said,
it was that you mandatorily have to do it, or it is upon it depends, or it is your discretion?
It's our discretion. Until now, we have not been mandatorily I mean, asked to collaborate with an industry, but definitely if there is a possibility, one should explore. But yeah, in my case, I haven't really explored that possibility till now because of the situation. But yes, I am also looking into that aspect of collaborating.
So what was your work in MTech, and on what topic you are working, and what you are thinking to work on in PhD?
Yes, so in my MTech, my project was actually based on time temperature integrators. So I actually did this in Technical University of Munich. So the IITs have this program with the German technical universities,
where the toppers of the department are being privileged to go to a foreign university.
Yes, yes, for doing their master thesis. So I applied for that, and yeah, so my
so you worked on intelligent packaging.
Okay, that's nice.
No, I'm asking you. You were working on packaging.
No. I didn't work on that aspect. I mean, yes, definitely that intelligent packaging, time temperature indicators is there. But I worked on something like making particles. So during heat treatment,
you made a different TTI.
Yes. I made a different TTI and for thermal processing. So in thermal processing of liquids, we are well established. We have well established principles for that. But in case of particulate foods, where there are particulate foods involved, so the heat transfer has to be from the heat exchanger wall to the liquid, and then from liquid to the solid, and further inside it. So
Okay, so
that's a complex process, and so the I was given this thesis of making those particles to resemble fruit particles, so that we can calculate the lethality and the thermal treatment which it has received in the heat exchanger.
So before putting up your application for PMRF, do you need to, besides statement of purpose, do you need to put in your topic which you will be working on in your PhD program?
Yes, we need to put in. Actually, that's optional. I mean, they don't force it, but then definitely without a research proposal, such a fellowship will not, application would not make any sense. So then, yes, definitely you should be very, so I would suggest that students should start thinking from right now that, or rather MTech days. So what exactly is their interest? So in my case, one of the topics which I had given for my MTech seminar in first semester, that was the topic which I selected for doing my PhD thesis. And I could write a proposal in short time on that. Yes, so that was because I had previously read on that topic. So yes, but then, yeah, research proposal is required.
Okay, so research proposal is required. Your strong research base is required to apply for the form. Okay, so besides, what are the perks that you get, or any contingencies that you get with the PMRF fellowship? Any foreign exposure opportunities? Like you said, you will be given, inshallah, an opportunity to teach in the polytechnic. So besides teaching opportunities, are there any contingencies that you are being provided with in PMRF fellowship?
Yes, there are contingencies provided on every year basis, and yeah, we can avail that. Also, there are you can attend at least one international conference throughout your PhD program.
Within the
Then,
scope of PMRF fellowship.
yes.
Okay, so if we write a proposal, if you are telling like it is optional whether you wish to put in your research topic or not. But if you put in a research topic, like in our labs, we don't have an established lab like you must be having in ICT or you have in IIT Kharagpur. So if we put up an project proposal also with it, suppose a 10 lakh project, 15 lakh project, is there any provision for that in PMRF or not?
Yes. In fact, the contingency grant is quite high. So every year they have this 2 lakh rupees of contingency grant. And if you are a direct entry, so if your PMRF is just at the beginning of your PhD, so then you get it for 5 years. So totally this contingency grant becomes of 10 lakh. And if you are like a lateral entry, so you have started your PhD, completed some like 1 year, so they have this limit, they keep on changing. I mean, sometimes they have 12 months, now they have 18 months. Okay, so even if you have completed 18 months, you can still apply. So this you need specific guidelines you need to check at the institute and the PMRF website. So in that case, for the remainder of your PhD fellowship, you will be getting your PMRF contingency grant. Yes, so but the maximum that can be availed is quite high, and yes, definitely the institutes can make use of it for getting new equipment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then I have another question. Like, okay, there is, I can say there it is a kind of situation where you have a half glass full. You can see it like how the glass is half empty, the glass is half full. Like you have, you are very, you had done a lot of hard work. You have been sincere, dedicated. So you have reached the heights of your own field, and inshallah you will continue to do it. So, but not everyone is able to qualify, crack GATE, qualify, go to IIT Kharagpur, get these prestigious fellowships. So let's talk about the other side. What's your perspective on the other side? Suppose I have now not been able to qualify the GATE. Is it the end of the road? Should I stop studying? And what else you would suggest?
Yeah, so like I told that I rather started my talk only with many of the things which I wanted, but I couldn't get. So it started all the way from my 12th standard when I wanted to get into IIT, but I couldn't. But then that got fulfilled later. So in MTech, and so it's not the end of it, I would say, and one should not lose heart. So and this is one thing which is important, is you need to have a grit. So there is this this is very important quality, that okay, you know that you need to do some kind of a research, and then that the fellowships are just ways in which you can sustain yourself financially, personally, etc. So a good research can be done in any way, and for labs which do not have very good equipments, I would say that it's maybe you can incorporate some aspects of modeling, computational modeling. And then the good point about these computational models is that for their validation, they don't require very sophisticated instruments. Sometimes it can be, I mean, if you are studying drying characteristics, and if you're modeling, let's say, drying kinetics, then that can be done with the help of a weighing balance. And let's say if it's microwave drying, then all you need is a microwave. So yeah, I mean, keep going. We know that, and it's not just, I mean, there's always a gap, I mean, between different research institutes, that some have some facilities, some don't have. But the point is how maximum we can utilize the facilities in a particular institute. That is what is important. For example, in my BTech, like ICT Mumbai, I mean, the BTech project I did, we had like very basic access, such as Hunter Lab colorimeter, texture meter, that's texture analyzer, and to measure the bricks content, total soluble solids, and the microwave oven. So in one of my papers, which has now got published with Snashish sir, so I did these basic analysis only, but then I tried to incorporate computational modeling approaches in that. And that is how it became a good study. So yes, definitely what I would say, like I would now take that example from you, like half glass filled and half glass full. So concentrate on that half glass full which you have, and yeah, make the most of the facilities which you have at your hand, and that will be it.
Okay, so some of our students have this year been admitted to ICT Jalna campus. Okay, so they're very excited. So some of them are asking, what are the institutes that you were having in your mind? Suppose if you were not thinking about IIT Kharagpur, you were not going to get IIT Kharagpur. What are the institutes that you are thinking? Both GATE, which take GATE as their basis of admission, and which don't take GATE.
Okay. Yeah, so I was basically having, I think, 3 institutes in mind. Which one is NIFTEM, CFTRI, and ICT. So yeah, these 3 were the institutes. And if I would have done it at ICT, then I would have selected some different MTech branch, for example, bioprocess engineering or something like that, because then it will give me a different department exposure.
Okay, so CFTRI doesn't offer MTech, or it does?
So it does offer MSc.
Okay, MSc in Food Science, yes. So does it take GATE as an basis of admission?
I think CFTRI has its own exam.
Damn it.
So I remember in my case, what happened was, so on the day or 1 or 2 day before, like on which the IIT Kharagpur admission result was going to come out, that on that day or a day after somewhere was CFTRI's exam deadline. So I was like, okay, if I'm not able to make it to IIT Kharagpur, then probably I'll fill this exam form for CFTRI, and I'll give that entrance for MSc. Fortunately, I could qualify, so then I did not appear for CFTRI exam.
Okay, so basically, mainly you had foreign ambitions in mind. Then you had these 3 institutes to target.
Yes,
so
yes.
aim big. I can see from Anas's aspirations that you should always aim big. You will definitely land somewhere very good, at a very good place. Okay, so with this, I think we have okay. XE and main paper are both having equal importance of value. Okay, so I'm not getting what the Krishna Pandya is asking. Like XE and main paper are both having equal importance or value. XE and main paper. I mean, he means to say in XE, in our main paper and optional paper, do both the papers have equal importance?
Yes, they take the overall score. So they don't see for the specific this thing, like in specific sections how much you have scored. They look for the overall score for admission. And also I would recommend that in IIT Kharagpur, like out of the 30 seats of food process engineering, 27 seats are reserved for agricultural engineering seats. So those who come by the giving the paper AE, agricultural engineering. So if you have studied agricultural engineering in your BTech, then probably you can give that examination AE. So that you have 27 by 30 is 90% chances that rather than 10% seats. That just those 3 seats are reserved for students coming from food technology who give XE, those who give mechanical engineering, ME, yeah, and CH, chemical engineering. So those 3 seats for, and that too among these 3 branches, they are there. So it's rather if you've studied agricultural engineering, and now also you have the privilege of giving 2 examinations of GATE. So probably you can give AE and XE both if one is comfortable.
It's really remarkable that you had only 3 seats to compete and yet you have made it. It's really very remarkable to see you. Okay, so besides, what are the books that you finally refer for food technology for our GATE students?
So for food, there are bifurcations now. So for food chemistry, I would suggest Phenema. Phenema is a good book. And also there's a book Shakuntala Mane, so that also can be referred. And for food microbiology, there are many of books. I referred Arun Bunia, food microbiology, Arun Bunia. And then there is one book for food process engineering and food engineering. Toledo is there. And then, yes, Toledo and Ravish Singh, I think, is there.
Arpal Singh.
Arpal Singh, yeah. So this for food process engineering, and for food product technology, I would suggest that Acharya Enjiniranga University, on their website, they have a lot of course materials for these courses. Very nicely prepared notes by their faculty, so that you can study food technology from that, product technology.
Okay. I think with this we are almost done with our questions that I had been provided by our students prior to this program. So what is your final gist that you would like to convey to our students who are studying in Department of Food Technology, IUST Avantipura and elsewhere?
Okay, so I would suggest
you can just paint a picture of food technology, how good it is. Okay, one good question I forgot to ask you is like industrial scope. You went to a big institute like ICT in your BTech only. So how did industry treat you? Were there not any placements, or you were not interested?
Okay, so yeah, now ICT Mumbai has this what do you say, a condition that you can either sit, so if you're interested in higher studies, so they take an undertaking. So if you're planning higher studies, especially abroad, then so you need letters of recommendation. So they will either give you letters of recommendation, write letters for you, or you can sit for placement. So if you're already planning for higher studies abroad, then you're not eligible to sit for placement. This is kind of it puts this students in a very decisive position that they either have to decide one of the two. So since I was planning my studies abroad, I did not sit for placements at that time.
Okay, that is great. Now you may finally make your concluding remarks that you wish to you give to the food technology students that are in their second year. Mainly those who are watching are in their second year, third year, and are GATE aspirants.
I would suggest that, okay, first of all, what you can do is every subject, every semester, what you have, study that properly from what your faculty teaches, all right? And then also read a bit in detail about it from reference books. So reference books are very, lengthy, I would say, and people keep reading it at all levels. So it's not like in BTech you should be thorough with those books, but you should at least take an idea of what's there in those reference books and what are the topics. So three levels, I would say. Firstly, what is being taught in the classes, be very vigilant about it. Then read the theoretical part from in detail on reference books. And the third is look out for practical applications which are there in that field. So for example, if it's food chemistry, then what are the research papers that are coming up in that field, and what are the innovative startups which are coming up in that field, as well as what is the industry working on in that. So that is the third aspect, which that is, you should be aware of what's practically happening around us. And so this is with regards to increasing your knowledge base. And then also another categories with regards to skills. So in that, again, do your practical classes properly, and perhaps plan experiments. If you're not able to do it, just keep planning. What experiments can be done, and maybe one day you will be able to do it. And when the time comes, as I said, chance favors the prepared mind. So keep your mind prepared on what experiments you would like to do in future. And when the chance comes, you can hit it on it.
Okay, so chance favors the prepared minds. I think our students are watching it keenly and taking leaf out of Anas's experience and a remarkable career that is into making. Okay, Anas, it was really very great to have a session with you on our toppers talk.
Thank you so
I
much,
wish you
Shafat bhai,
all
for
the best
inviting.
for your amazing career that is in the path of making of a great scientist, I should say.
Thank you.
Okay, I wish you all the best. I thank you once again on behalf of our department, as well as all the students, for watching you, for taking out your time and giving us your valuable suggestions and advices out of your experience. Thank you so much, Anas.
Thank you so
Okay, with
much.
this, I will end this session. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, Shafat bhai, for inviting. It was really nice talking with you and expressing and sharing my thoughts. And all the best to all the students. Stay motivated, keep learning, and be curious.
Thank you so much. It was our pleasure to have you on our show.
Same here, same here. Thank you.